Plaintiff Keiara Lambert says she let her boyfriend take her car for a job away from home, and he crashed it after he fell asleep at the wheel. She's suing for $3,200. Defendant Brandon Hunt claims he crashed because he was so sleepy, thanks to the plaintiff keeping him on the phone for hours just to make sure he wasn't cheating on her. He's countersuing for $5,000 in lost wages.
You are a lovely couple with a little child?
Yes.
And how old is your child?
8 months.
Congratulations to both of you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
But there seems to be a little trouble, huh?
Put you on
Because
the monitor, Judge.
oh, wow,
Good-looking kid.
yeah. Okay, but what's going on here is, Keiara, you are suing the father of your child, Brandon, for $3,200, which you say is the cost of your 2010 Chevy Malibu.
He believes that he don't have to pay me for it. And just because we're in a relationship, I'm not letting it slide.
Okay.
For the most part, that car was precious to me. I went through my whole pregnancy with that car.
So it's your car?
Yes.
The title of the car is in your name?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And when it came time for me to have my baby, I needed that car.
Yeah.
And it was out of commission because
I gave you another car, though, so.
he wrecked it in Wyoming. He took a job in Wyoming while I was at home pregnant.
Where do you live?
I live in Ohio. So he went all the way to Wyoming to pick up a job when he could have found a job in Ohio, just like anybody else. He decided to drive my car to Wyoming, and it never came back. Long story short.
Okay, he asked you if he could borrow your car.
Yes, we actually swapped cars, to be honest. He gave me his Durango, and his Durango was perfectly fine when he came home.
When you said you traded cars, the car was still in your name?
The car's still in my name. It's in a junkyard in Wyoming.
Okay.
It never came back. He said that he got into an accident. He fell asleep behind the wheel.
You fell asleep?
Yes. But I feel it's because of her is why I fell asleep.
What did happen? What do you mean you fell asleep because of her?
Pretty much when I took the job,
You
it
ain't
was a
fall
traveling.
asleep 'cause
Okay,
of
wait,
me.
now he's talking. Okay.
When I took the job, it was a traveling job. Every week I was in a different state doing
Yeah.
traveling merchandising. And pretty much the moment I left, I was being accused of cheating all the time. Never cheated on her. So it was like, I guess it was her hormones or whatever. Never cheated. So I'm on the phone with her
Lie.
7, 8 hours
That
throughout
was
the day.
not
I
just
got
because of my
proof.
hormones, no.
I worked all day,
Yeah.
and I'm on the phone with her all throughout the night, pretty much. And it's like I have evidence,
How
as you
long
can
are
see.
these phone calls? Yeah.
7
No.
hours, 5 hours. I have, as you can see, an
Whatever.
exhibit.
We was on
Okay.
we
All right,
was
I
on-
just want to see this, but
we was on the
Literally.
phone. We was on the
5
phone.
hours, 6 hours, 7 hours.
We was on the phone, but
But I
that
could
don't
have died, though.
that
She
don't
got me
change
here.
the fact that he
You
was
got
doing
me here,
whatever he
showing
was
me
doing
over a
on
car,
his
and I
spare
could have
time.
died, bro.
okay.
And I still was at home taking care of business, so he's still responsible for my car. I need to hear what's going on.
Nothing at all.
He in Wyoming, I'm in Ohio. I need to hear what's going on. I need to
7
hear
hours,
what's
though?
going on.
7 hours.
He texted me back late. We got a problem.
7 hours?
He called me. I called him. He don't answer. We got another problem. I want to know
See
what's
what I gotta
going
deal
on
with?
when I'm not around.
So you don't trust him?
I don't trust him,
But I
and he
haven't
gave
given
me
a
reason
reason
not to trust him before he even left.
And what
we
reason
was
was that?
shaky before he left and went to Wyoming.
I could have died, though. But you got me, you suing me over a car, and I could have lost my life.
But you called me 5 seconds after the accident, so you wasn't dead.
But you weren't worried about
nowhere
me.
near
You was
dead.
worried about your car.
You wasn't nowhere near.
Oh, my God.
You didn't even go to the hospital afterward. You went straight to he went straight to the airport.
Tell me about the accident.
So I was driving from Wyoming on my way to Denver, Colorado for my next assignment, and tired. On the phone with her all day and all night. I had an 18-hour drive.
from sleeping.
Hang on, you're interrupting.
I had an 18-hour drive. I was tired. I was trying to make it to my next rest stop. All I know is I started dozing off, and when I woke up, I was running into the back of a semi-truck.
You understand, I mean, you're an adult. I'm not saying that 7 hours isn't a long phone call or 5 hours.
He chose that job.
Ma'am,
Did I just say?
I'm sorry.
I understand why you're tired, but you're a grown-up. At some point, you have to say, we have to end the call right now because I have to get some sleep. I'm going to be driving on the road, and it's not safe for me to get tired. There's no crime in her calling you. You are the one that has the power to say, I can't talk right now because it's dangerous if I do.
Jared, you don't live with this woman. You don't see what I go
That
through
is
on a daily
true.
basis.
I don't live with
And you
Let
ain't
the
gonna live
record
with me.
show we don't live together.
But I ain't stop him from sleeping. He could have went to sleep
I mean,
whenever
I-
he felt like sleeping.
My thing is, I was trying to prove to her that I wasn't doing any cheating. And if it took 7 hours to be on the phone with her, I mean, that's what I did.
No, seriously. Okay, joking aside.
Okay.
Why in the world do you keep someone on the phone for 7 hours?
Because she's crazy.
Okay, at the time, I was probably I was going through it. I was pregnant. I was going through my pregnancy, and he wasn't there. He'd rather be across the country when you could be at a job right here.
So now there's a different issue. Now, and that is understandable. She's going through a pregnancy.
Right.
All of a sudden, the father of her baby is suddenly taking a job that takes you halfway across the country, and she feels abandoned because she's got to deal with all this. And if the only way she can vent or feel that you're still involved in this is on a phone, then that's going to happen. That's, you know, when you get a woman pregnant,
you deal with the consequences.
You're involved whether you want to be or not. And she felt abandoned, and you were away.
Okay, so I'm a new father. This is my firstborn, you know, all that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when you had your first child, you wanted to do any and everything you could to make sure, you know, you could provide for your family, which that's what I felt that I was doing. You know, yeah, we have jobs that I could have took locally, but they wasn't paying enough. The job that I took away, it provided
Well, take two jobs.
It provided, okay, then that's more time away from home still.
How often are you home on this job?
I came home probably every other weekend.
You was gone for like 3 months.
Every other weekend, like I'm off on weekends.
But
so
he
if
don't know until it was time.
Every other weekend I get off. I'm off.
All right, but you should realize, you're entitled to make that decision, but you should realize if you're going to be telling your pregnant girlfriend, she's having your child, I could be gone several months at a time other than once in a while coming in for a weekend, of course she's going to be upset. Now, that doesn't mean who has to pay for the car. But let's take a look at pictures of the accident. And there's obviously damage there. And then you junked the car.
Well, I had to junk the car.
And then
I didn't have the title on hand with me, so I had to
got the
junk
title.
She has the title. So I had to junk the car. They charged me $150 for the tow and $160 to pretty much for him to junk the car because I didn't have the title with me. Yeah. So I was still out of pocket $310 for that. I had to pay $300 for a cab to drive me 2 hours to the nearest to Greyhound station to get to Denver. Then I had to fly from Denver all the way to Cleveland, Ohio. So it's like, at the end of the day, I could lost my life. I had to spend so much money just to get home, and you want to sue me over a car.
That wasn't my fault.
And you had a car at the house. I understand what your
I'm in Ohio. I didn't make you hit nobody's car, and I ain't stop you from going to sleep.
Actually, you did stop me from going to sleep.
You could have turned the phone off.
And then I would have had another problem with you. Turn the phone off, and then I got to come home to you nagging at me, who you been cheating on me with, yada, yada, yada. Nobody want to hear that, man.
Okay, and then there's the countersuit, and you're suing her for $5,000 for lost wages because you quit what job?
The chopping job.
Oh, so this job you no longer...
No, because it was either keep working the job and lose my family or...
You had to come home to this baby anyway. And that's just period point blank.
Okay, but he's quitting the job to save this relationship.
Yeah, and even if he left today, I still won't have no car.
Ungrateful.
If he leave today, my son still got to get to the doctor. I still got to get to the doctor.
How do we get there?
I got to get to the grocery store. I still got stuff to do. If he decides to up and leave today, I still got stuff to do with or without him.
But I'm there with the kids, because I'm not working right now, so regardless.
Are you giving her your car?
She has my car.
No.
Yeah, but I mean...
Is it in my name, though?
It's not officially in her name,
but... He drives it everywhere he need to go.
And so do she.
But you did crash her car. I mean, you know, we can't make her pay for the car that you crashed.
I mean, if I could have got sleep from hers, then...
I understand, but again...
I crashed it.
You do have to pay her. For the countersuit, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but you need to make that decision. You can either decide to keep your job or not keep your job, but you can't blame her for leaving the job.
If she throw an ultimatum, either the job or your family, like...
People do that, couples do that all the time. A decision has to be made.
Okay.
I'm not saying you made the wrong decision, but I'm saying whatever decision you make, that's your decision, and that's the consequence. So I dismiss the countersuit, and I find for the plaintiff and her suit in the sum of $3,200.
Thank you.
She may change her attitude, her trust issues that she had with me, and understand that all I'm trying to do is provide for our family.
I really love him. I love the father of him. He take care of our kids to the most. I wouldn't change him for the world.
Plaintiff Frankie Rubin says he asked the defendant to take a peek at his wonky coffee grinder, but his neighbor ended up breaking the thing. His caffeine withdrawal is starting to take its toll, so he's suing for $80. Defendant Mike Ryan says his neighbor is cuckoo for coffee beans because that grinder was broken before he parted. He's not paying a penny for the plaintiff's problems.
You are suing your neighbor Mike for $80 for breaking your coffee grinder and then emotional distress. So tell me about your coffee grinder.
Okay, great. So I am a very enthusiastic coffee drinker. I don't know if you are.
I enjoy coffee a lot.
So
I have it every morning.
Then you're going to understand where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah.
I buy organic free trade coffee, whole beans only. Serious coffee drinkers make their own coffee. They get the beans they like. Maybe you buy different types of beans, and you grind the coffee with your own home grinder each time you want to make coffee. Because when you're buying coffee like at the store, like your grandmother used to buy, already in a can, it's ground, that's not a real coffee drinker's coffee. A real coffee drinker likes good quality coffee. So I have this coffee grinder that I bought.
How much does like a grinder like that cost?
Well, there's a wide range. The
Yeah.
one I bought cost $55. And I was having issues with the coffee grinder. And I was in touch with the company to discuss with them what to do about it. Now the company, they were willing to consider replacing it if I shipped it back to them, and the shipping would cost $25. So we're talking about a $50 coffee grinder, $25 to ship it. I was discussing this with Mike because we know each other from the neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
And I mentioned to him, you know, my coffee grinder, it's a drag. It's broken. When you make coffee and the grinds fall into the container, it leaks out, it falls out on the side. It's not working properly. He said, really? He says, maybe I'll look at it. I said, you know what, I don't want to mess with the coffee grinder because I'm going to try to work something out with the company. But he insisted. He says, well, let me put my hands on it.
Where was it? Was it your
It
house?
was at my, sure. He maybe he has a degree from MIT, I'm not aware of. Maybe he's an appliance master, but he's not. He came to my house, and he insisted, you know those kind of people insist like, oh, I'll do it for you? He insisted, I'm
sat
speaking,
down
Mike.
for coffee.
Okay, you invited him to your house.
Well, yeah.
Come over, have a cup of coffee.
Right.
You're having a cup of coffee with your grinder.
That's right.
And you heard a crazy sound.
It's supposed to fall into this little compartment here.
Yeah.
And it's falling out, it's leaking out into other side.
There was
He said, you know, I'll look at
Well, he
it.
shows it to me. You showed it to me. Look at the coffee grinder. Look.
You
what
know-
do you think? What do you think? Slides it over
Excuse
to
me,
me.
he asked me, right?
Well,
so
he
I'm speaking.
slides it, okay.
So I'm discussing this with him. I said, you know, I'm really unhappy with the coffee grinder. I'm going to work something out. I'm going to send it to the manufacturer. He says, let me take a look. I said, wait, don't get involved with it because I don't want to make it worse. What do you think probably happened? He insisted. He put his hands on it. Somehow he's a master coffee grinder repair person. And now it's worse. On top of which, and this is the important one, now he breaks it. What am I supposed to do? Buy another coffee grinder? So now, if you're a drinker,
I
you
did
like
not
your coffee,
break it.
You made it worse, Mike. So now I'm feeling like my whole day is thrown off. You know when you don't have the right coffee?
How did you get through the day?
I think you should try decaf.
This is what I call a.
There's a lot of emotional distress related to this.
I can see.
Yeah.
kind of like a kid with his toy, you know, like a broken toy.
Okay, this is what I call a first world problem.
Okay.
He says, look at this, slides it over to me. Implied, you know, like take a look. That,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
you picked it up, you looked.
I'm fooling around with how it fits in,
Yeah.
the part that's loose, and I couldn't fix it. I fooled around with it just like he was doing.
Couldn't fix it.
I couldn't
Okay.
fix it. It was already broken, and
Yeah.
I put it back. It was in when I left. It was in the same condition as when I got there.
Okay.
It's about the principle. It's the principle.
Why
you know,
is the principle? He was-
people have to
Isn't this
understand
a problem
boundaries.
you have with
This is
everybody,
understanding
Frankie?
social boundaries.
It's also possible that because it was leaking and everything, the thing was beyond repair anyway. It's
Respectfully-
possible.
That's
Respectfully,
right,
Your
exactly,
Honor.
because he was looking to
Why
get
couldn't you go out
compensation.
and just buy a cup of coffee from a nice
I
coffee
can,
shop?
but it's inferior.
It was the company's fault that sold it to him. He's on the phone with them first. Now it's my fault.
Okay.
All his problems are
Now,
somebody
the fact
else's
that
fault.
you were
well,
the-
you know,
the fact
only
that-
the ones
hang
that
on.
involve you.
Yeah.
The fact that you were calling the company is some evidence that there was something wrong with the coffee grinder to begin with. You were the one that discovered that something was wrong. Now, there's no proof. You may suspect he may in fact have made it worse, but in the court you have to prove your case. You can't prove that he broke it, but I'm willing to do this. You're a coffee expert, you say.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I would
But you're
say
good, an aficionado.
that's the word we're looking for.
We are going to have a coffee test. You and me are going to have a taste test. We're going to have a coffee tasting contest now, and the relevance of this is you are maintaining in your suit that you also want some money for emotional distress because you need your cup of coffee. Now, I'm trying to gauge how important your particular brand of coffee is. So we're going to test this, how important it really is to you. There are in front of you 5 cups of coffee, and the list here is My Java, a national brand of caramel iced coffee, a local coffee shop black coffee, your personal coffee, that's the one that you really like, and a national brand of white mocha. So which one do you think is yours?
The one that's mine, and I'm not positive, is 4.
Interestingly enough, I say the same thing. 4 is yours.
Because it has a nice flavor to it.
It's got a nice flavor.
And it has good body.
Number 4 is My Java. Jerry's Java is the break room coffee. That's why I never have coffee in the break room. No, actually, it's very good. I'm going to take a break.
You should.
Well, there you go, smarty pants.
I never claimed to be a coffee expert. Did I ever say I was an expert? No. I said I was an aficionado.
Yes.
One can enjoy something without being an expert.
Exactly. I believe that you are serious about your coffee, but I think you're going to survive it because if it was so important to your health, your mind, you probably would have been able to tell right off which is more likely to be yours. Based on that, and also suing your neighbor for breaking a coffee grinder that you cannot prove he broke, I dismiss the case. Time for a coffee break.
I will probably will not have coffee with Frankie again.
In as much as you can be disappointed and annoyed at a moment, I think it is useful in anything in life to find the opportunity to move forward. There's no point in keeping some cantankerous relationship where it's not needed. So yes, I would say we can repair the friendship. I wouldn't let him fix anything in my house.